What's up, everybody? We're back on the Impala again, and this time we're doing inner and outer tie rods on it. Here are the parts. I'm going to go ahead and show you all those. These are the outer tie rods. Master Pro, got them at O'Reilly's, not a sponsor. That's the only ones that they had. ES3459. These are the outers. Here are the inners. Where are you at? EV195. The last video you saw, we put the struts on this right here. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy, no special tools you really needed. This right here, you may have to rent a tool to get the inner tie rods off. It's like a tie rod tool. I'll show you what it looks like here in a few. But yeah, if you're doing your struts also, you could just leave your whole strut assembly off if you wanted to. But the other side was a pain in the butt to get off. I had to heat up the nut on the bottom right here to get it off and melt out all the, what is it, the little plastic lock portion of it, because it would not come off at all. It was on there really tight. And I had to heat up this right here too to get that nut to break loose. But first thing we're going to do, we're actually going to heat up this right here, and we'll do that right off the bat. Heat it up so I can break this jam nut loose so that we can go ahead and thread that back and have it loose, so we don't have to worry about trying to hold it and everything while it's flopping around on us. So tip of the day, if I can say that right, is to break your jam nut loose before you do anything else. Okay. Let me grab my tools. I'll be right back. So like I said, we're heating this up first, and I'm just going to go down it too, because I need to break this up inside of it as well. But we're just going to heat that jam nut up. And you can leave it in one spot if you want to. It'll eventually heat it all up. But I like kind of moving it around to even out the heat. And this is just a little matte gas torch thing I got at Lowe's. Not a sponsor, but this is just where I got it. You can get the whole kit there. Might see if I can find a link to that too. We're just going to heat it up for a minute, and then what we're going to do, it is a 22 millimeter, and we're going to try to break it loose. Remember, you're going to turn it like you're tightening this one, not like you're going to loosen it. You can kind of see it smoking now. Make sure I grab 22, and I didn't. I left it on the ground over here apparently. Yep. 22 millimeter. Let's see how easy she is going to move for us. Yeah. This is tight. Hold on. Let me set y'all down. Alright, there it goes. And once you break loose, do not touch it with your hands, because she is going to be tight. So, down here, that jam nut right there, not really a jam nut, but the nut that holds the actual outer tie rod on, that is an 18, is a lock nut. It does have an 8 millimeter portion on the bolt, I guess you could say, the stud portion of it, so you can break it loose. Mine was super tight on the other side. Let me see if I can use my impact and see if it'll pull it off. Kind of wish it would. No, she is spinning. The nut is right there, and we have the tie rod off now. Alright. And there we go. Now, I don't know how hot this thing is. Not too bad. Thought it'd be worse. Just thread it off. And since I heated it up, made it a lot easier. Now on this tie rod, you can see where the threads went to. I don't know how tight that is. That ain't really that hot anymore. But you can see where the nut was on there. And what you want to do is you want to, whenever you get the new one in here, because the new ones are the same length for the outer and inner. So we're going to count the number of threads that this was on, and we're going to thread it back on the exact same amount, and that way, you know, we'll get alignment as close to what it was before we started. And we'll have to get a alignment afterwards. We can't do it at our shop. We don't have an alignment machine, but we do have one right next door to us, and they do pretty much most of our stuff. Or we get the Chevy dealership right across the street from us to do it too. So it's kind of works out in our advantage, and we always help each other out, all of us. So now got that. We're gonna have a little squeeze clamp right here. Squeeze it, pull that off, and there's that. And can't see it up in there. It's gonna be hard for me to show you, but up inside of there is like a little rod that goes inside of the bellow, and then there's another like clamp on the other side of the bellow as well. And I'm just going to use a chisel and a hammer, and I'm going to break that clamp. There's like a raised section of it that you can get the tip of the chisel on. You just hit it 1 or 2 times and it should pop right off. I'm going to pop mine off here in just a second. I would show you, it's just I would be all in the way, and your crimp area may be in a different location than mine. On the passenger's driver's side, it was actually on the back side, like facing the back of the vehicle. This one right here, I don't know where it's at yet, and once I find out where it's at, I'll like knock it off. And then once I get it off of here too, I'll show me pulling it off, and once I get it off, you'll see like a little opening where it transfers the vacuum pressure between each bellow on each side, so it doesn't create too much pressure. Okay, just slides off, and you can see what I was talking about. There's a little rod that goes inside of there. It transfers the bellow pressure from one side to the other, and there's a little bit of stuff in there, but that's to be expected. And you see that little green covering over that? You're going to have to get your chisel and knock that back as well, because then there's little notches that you can put your little tie rod tool on, and it breaks it loose. So I'm just going to use my chisel again, knock that back. It'll just push right back. It's just plastic. So this is the tie rod tool. You can see it's just like a pipe. It's got like this little weird looking end right here. That slides over there. And then on the end you have a 1/2 inch ratchet adapter. Then you should have a bunch of these, and you see these slide over the flats, and then you slide your tool on and it goes in here. Then you just turn this down and it locks it in, so you can break it loose so it doesn't come back off. Sometimes this is harder said than done because putting this on and then getting that over there and locking it down can be a feat all in itself, because sometimes your pieces go in like this, that, sometimes they go straight down. Just could be anywhere, just depends on what the torque is. But we're going to put this on here, and I'm going to put all my stuff together, and then whenever I get ready to break it loose, I'll kind of show y'all what it looks like. Alright, we got it on there, and I went ahead and just broke it loose real quick, but this is how it goes. And it's still pretty tight, and all you're going to do is just ratchet it off like you would any kind of nut or bolt. But it's kind of how it goes. Whenever I get it out, I kind of show you where it goes on the little flat spots on the inner tie rod, just so everybody knows what it looks like. Got it off. I'm going to kind of open it up a little bit, get my piece out. There it is. And like I said, you can see the little flat spots on it right there. That's where this goes. This goes on there just like that. Now, these right here were I think 1 7/16. Yes. And the new ones are the same size too. So I'm going to pull that little plastic piece out, thread the new one in, and go ahead and start installing it and torquing it down. The torque spec is 74 foot-pounds. So I'm going to put my big torque wrench on there and torque it down to 74. So here's the bellow, putting a zip tie on the back side. I know some people are going to be like, oh, you need to crimp it. But whenever you get new bellows, they always come with zip ties. So that's what I've always put on there, the way I've always done it. I've never had any issues with it. So when you slide this over though, make sure you line up that tube with this hole right there. And then you can slide it down on there, and you can put the little squeeze clamp right there. But just kind of stick it on. Alright, got it stuck on, and now I'm just going to line up everything, tighten that zip tie, and I'm going to cut it flush with a pair of flush cut pliers, and make sure nobody scratches their hand on it or anything if they ever have to get up inside of there. So let me put that on, then once I get through, I'll show you the little trick I used to kind of get these back where they were. So I got it back on, and I got it torqued down, got the bellow on. Here is the old one. The way that I do this is I put where the mark is, where the old one was, up against there, about how many threads it was, and then I just thread the nut up to it, and then I always count them just to be sure. And another thing, this only works if everything is the same length. And yes, I still have to clip the little tail off of my zip tie in there, so don't say anything about that. But like I was saying, this only works if everything is the same length, even your outer tie rod. So, and now what we're going to do, we're just going to thread this on, and let's get it to where it's touching it. Okay, go right there. Then I'm going to thread this nut off on the bottom. Come on. I didn't think it was that far on there. And I'm going to put it. Come on, get in there. Come on, get in there. There we go. Okay. Put it down in there. I'm going to thread my nut back on. And this one torques to 22 foot-pounds, and then an additional 120 degrees. 120 degrees is 3/4 of a turn. Just for anybody who don't know that. Well, no, actually, I was thinking 360, I think. Yeah, so it's roughly about 3/8 of a turn. Sorry, I was thinking wrong. Yeah, roughly about 3/8 of a turn. So just we're going to torque it down, and then we're just going to start, say, at 90, just come to 1/4 and then another half, and you should be good to go on that. But let me torque this down, get the cotter pin on, and you can always go a little tighter on it just to line up the cotter pin also. That way you can get it all good to go, so that in case the nut ever comes off or backs off, it never comes off because of the cotter pin. That's what those are there for, in case anybody didn't know that. Now we got it torqued, got the cotter pin in, and now all I gotta do is snug down the jam nut and grease it, and we will be finished. Not going to tighten it up super tight, just because we do have to go get it aligned, and I don't want them to fight with it any more than they already have to. So I do got to grease that. I'll do that in a minute, but other than that, this is a job complete. Didn't take that long. I think it calls for like 1.2 hours per side, and you can probably get it done about 45 minutes maybe if you just take your time. Oh, I do see one thing I got to do. Look up the wheel speed sensor again, because I disconnected it, just so I wouldn't burn it up. Alright, we got it connected. Alright, but like I said, that's pretty much it. Pretty easy job. It's got and you can rent this tool right here from any parts store. They'll let you rent it, and then they'll give you all your money back when you bring the tool back. But if I got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't even have to pertain to this vehicle. If you got any questions about any vehicle, hit me up on Instagram. Do get to that a little bit quicker. Also, giveaway video will be in the description. Check that out. All you gotta do is comment. You can comment anything. Be like, hey, comment, hey, I don't like your video, whatever. I don't care. Just comment on it, and you get a chance to win a shirt, hat, and stickers. But like I said, just hit me up on Instagram if y'all got anything. I'll get to that a little bit quicker. Do like emails, or you can comment on this video. But y'all remember, torque this tight, and y'all have a great day.